Welcome back. We saw one exciting set. Now we have another one coming up. I am Hindu. I am Tiger, joined by Hindu. I am not Hindu.
I'm Tiger.
I don't have a cool bow tie yet.
No, you don't.
I don't have
Rude.
one. I wanted to match you, but you pulled out some
Although
rainbow
you put out some good
craziness.
ties, and I like the vests as well.
Thank you. I enjoy
They
it.
look pretty good.
But we're going to be looking at Elevate versus Eager today. But before we go into that, don't forget today is Talk Like a Pirate Day. So it's going to be 25% off all of the pirates' booty chests.
Booty chests.
Yar.
It's all day today, 25% off. Can you tell like a pirate?
Yar.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, me too.
I'm missing a tooth, though, so that counts, right?
Me booty is the best booty.
There you go. Beautiful.
Yeah, works out. Thank you. Good
No
job.
problem.
Not
Go for
only
it.
that, there is also the AVGL League that's going to be coming. It's the Smite College League for Season 2. Sign-ups October 2nd. Sign up now. This starts October 2nd, I should say. Make sure you get yourself signed up for that. Get your college buddies online. You can find all the information over there.
Don't they have a LAN that's going to be here for the finals?
Possibly.
That would be pretty freaking hype. But we have some hype we need to talk about. Elevate versus Eager. We just saw Eager in the previous round. Now they're going to go up against Elevate for their doubleheader.
Yeah, and it's a good situation for them to be in right now. They can potentially put some pressure onto Most Wanted, who have Saw in the final set of the day here. And by doing this as well, they will close the gap. And they, like as we said, they've been 3 points before that set against Aware Gaming, who were #1. So finding that win was very big for them. Now they walk into Elevate, who they were below at the start of this week, potentially able to catapult themselves further ahead.
Elevate were able to get a couple of points for themselves last week, but it's going to be all down to this game more than likely. Well, they have another one, but it's all down to this for Eager.
Yep, for
Because
sure.
they want to net themselves a nice another 3 points.
And if they can continue doing what they did in the last set that we just saw, obviously up against Aware, if they can keep the split push going, Delta Marine continues his fast-paced mindset of just out-farming the opposition.
Just feed
positioning
Delta.
so well. Yeah, feed Delta and you will win.
I mean, Eager have 2 strats. Feed Delta, objective control.
Good situation for them to be in for this one. Picks and bans-wise, I'm pretty sure they should be ready, and it'll be interesting to see how exactly Eager choose to do things in this one, because they've picked some interesting things where they've left, things like the Fafnir up until later on in the picks, which isn't something I'm expecting to see too much more in the SEL.
Last week, they netted themselves their first wins with a magical ADC. When they run that magical ADC, they've won, especially last week. So looking to see if they're going to be taking that, running that with Cougs.
Well, they ran that as well with the Freya earlier on today, and then they switched it up with the Neef. Zeus banned out again, so Eager really recognizing them don't like this Zeus whatsoever. Seems to be causing them a lot more issues than they feel, and obviously we don't want to see Delta Marine playing it, clearly, because they're banning it themselves.
My big thing, Jumpahhh excels on these junglers that have the global ults. He's really good at picking himself up, running across the map and helping out, having that high mobility. So I'm curious if Elevate are going to try and ban something like that out, or if they're going to go for these more high pressure like Fafnir Terra, who's still available currently.
I think that's the key there. Terra still being up means Elevate have to really recognize that one. Now maybe we see the Ratatoska coming out here. I could potentially see that coming out from Eager this game. Just make sure they take some of that global presence, as you were saying, away from Jumpahhh that could look for that, although Thor's still on the table as well.
I mean, yeah, Thor, we saw that, but Guan Yu made it through. That's a big thing coming with Terra being out. There are going to be some gods going to get through that you don't want, especially Guan Yu, Susano. Even those are popular between these two, but Ravana going to get locked in for Elevate.
And also Ao Kwang's still on the table as well, as Susano is locked in as well, as you said. So already securing themselves the right-hand side of the map for the most part in the early game here with the Susano and Ravana lock-in. You said you wanted to see some more global presence out of out of Jumpahhh this game, but not as much globability with the Susano here. Great pressure, though, and great overall skill involved to play this god.
Definitely. So we'll have to see how he performs there. But Eager, as you mentioned, Ao Kwang is still available, and I feel like all eyes are set on this jungle. Jellly, what's he running it?
Will Jellly run it, though? I mean, we've seen him play a little bit of Ratatoska earlier on today as well. The moment's going to be the Chronos lock-in, which is a flex pick. Obviously, Delta Marine could run this in the mid lane. We could see it, as you said, a mages in the Hunter role. We've seen a couple of times before as well. And actually, we're definitely going to see a mage in the Hunter role. Yep,
look at those flex picks there. Both of them can just flip back and forth depending on whatever Elevate want to run in their duo lane. So nice to have that little bit of flex there.
Yeah, and obviously we've saw they've got plenty of tower push there as well. Talking about lack of tower push, I should say. Freya been locked in for Elevate that time round. But Sol and Chronos, pretty much very, very good at surviving gank potential. And I think that's putting pressure onto Jumpahhh again, who is playing the Susano, going to be looking for picks. But Disapparate causes a lot of issues for you to try and pick off Sol. At the same time, Rewind coming out from Chronos, going to cause issues there too.
Who would you want to put up against that Freya, though? I mean, we're gonna have that magical ADC head off.
Well, realistically, it could be either one of them. Kronos is okay against the Freya fight over there. If you find the stun, he's going to stop the pulse damage coming through. At the same time, you could just put Sol there and go for wave clear advantage in the early stages. Allow them to pressure Freya under the tower, as you'd expect to see her in the early game.
Last bands coming in for Elevate, going to be a Thor and a Rada Tosker. Eager banning out the Bacchus. Elevate, I have the notes here. I have a heart right next to Bacchus. They love their Bacchus. Go ahead and get rid of that very aggressive Guardian.
It just shows what the lineup of Elevate are going to look for here. They're looking for the aggression from the support player, and it also helps out the Freya a little bit more in the laning phase. Both the Bacchus and the Athena would help out, just in terms of wave clear. Bacchus because he'll push back the enemy team. However, Khepri being locked in because of that, I think he's very good too. His push power, fantastic.
Hugbug OP, please nerf. I love the res. I just love the name Hugbug too.
Hugbug works out.
It's fun. I like it in the pools, especially into a Freya.
Yeah, I mean, the abduction really help him out sometimes, but you've got to be careful who he's paired against. And that pick from Eager, I really do love now. That Sobek is technically flex because it could be Guan Yu solo or Sobek
Everything
support,
on Eager's flex right now.
Good point. Good point. I should just say Eager are flexing.
Eager flex. Eager are flexing right now. Sobek could go as the Guardian or could go as the solo Beck over on Solo Island.
I would like to see it in the support role, though, just because of the fact up against the Khepri, you pluck Khepri out of position, going to have a hard time getting him back to safety overall there. Allow Sol to get a lot of burst damage off all the Kronos if they run out there. And there's the Erlang Shen as well, so we got a bit of an interesting one. Could be Erlang Shen jungle this.
It could be jungle, it could be solo, Sobek could, yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, everything is flex from Eager. Elevate have no idea what they're going into, but they're going to pick up that Vulcan for the mid lane as their last pick.
Well, I'm actually going to expect to see more than likely that Vulcan being locked in now that Sol goes to the mid lane for Delta Marine here, mainly because up against the Vulcan is pretty good matchup for him. He obviously the Stellar Burst can also hit the turret and the minion wave if you don't see that position turret correctly in that lane, so you can clear out the wave a little bit more effectively, also reduce the amount of clear that Vulcan's got as well.
Works out a little bit for Eager when it comes to that matchup, but Vulcan going into Sol, I mean, he doesn't really have an escape, and she can disapparate away. How's that going to affect the play coming out from Vulcan? I
mean, realistically, Vulcan's not really necessarily looking for a full kill on his own there. He's just looking to farm up and get himself to an early stage. And we do see it's going to be Delta Marine in the mid lane up against the Sol. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty much up to Truancii here just to continue farming up. For the most part, try and make sure he places his turret well. And into game we go.
Yep, speaking of Truancii, we have a couple of roster changes coming out from Elevate. Keegs has moved to the ADC role from the mid, and Truancii has stepped into that spot.
I think it's pretty wise to see Keegs actually going into the Hunter role. He'd played there previously on previous teams and found himself good situations to be in there. So seeing him go back to the Hunter role isn't really a surprise for me. What I do see, though, is two Rafts online. It's going to be a Guan Yu jungle this game and Erlang Shen in the solo lane. So Guan Yu brings a bit of a different feel to the lineup of Eager this game. It's going to slow them down a little bit in terms of how they're going to engage in these team fights.
So before we start, I wanted to question this Freya here. Freya built into the Vampiric Shroud.
Yep.
I know some people like to go with the Soulstone for a more aggressive start. Is this more of just for sustain and lane?
Well, this would be the fact that he knows AirCougar's the other Hunter, right? So what he's actually looking at here is how the matchup's going to go between the two of them. And yes, he's going to take a bit more poke from Cougar here, so having a little bit less health will not help him out too much. Having that extra health will allow him to sustain more, as well as Vampiric Shroud does give you that extra sustain when you kill creeps.
Would be nice, but Delta Marine and Truancii have made it back into the mid lane. Gonna go ahead and start. Yep, that Stellar Burst did take a little bit of damage onto that turret. Gonna go ahead and take that out. And Delta Marine on point.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's going to do. He's positioning these Stellar Bursts perfectly just to get the poke off, adding to either him or the turret at the same time. And now Jellly's going to get these right on Harpies early. This is a good call from Eager. Get the right on Harpies first, ignore the Fire Elementals, and talk about duo lane. That's what I expected out of Eager as well. Focus the Khepri.
Good pluck out of Myflin to take Rippin holes. Just the good. Just being able to move somebody from one spot to the other. The displacement is jarring.
Now, I will say as well, with like Sol not being in that duo lane here, and actually he's going to be the Kronos, wave clear advantage for Elevate, definitely in the duo lane this time round. There's a little bit more kill potential, I'll say, on the side of Eager in the duo lane, but Elevate have the push power to pin them under the tower, try and deny a little bit of farm, just because of Khepri's clear advantage.
Jellly wants to go in, try to find these camps, and second to find the Tallow Assault onto Jumpahhh, getting quite a bit of damage, but taking it himself. Gonna go ahead and back off in Delta Marine zoning.
Yeah, he'll be fine as well, though, Jellly there. He'll just be able to sustain back up. Obviously, he got conviction as well, so we'll be able to just continue to heal Weather the Storm, as well as Bumba's Mask will come into play when he's in the jungle, so not going to be a big issue for Jellly to take too much poke early on.
I'm surprised, though. Eager haven't hit level 4 yet. They're all level 3, only just now hitting it. They're going to be Niqued and Delta Marine.
Yeah, this matchup over in the solo lanes we're looking at there, Dwurst versus Niqued there on the Ravana. It's an interesting matchup, just to say the least, because it could go either way in terms of poke potential. A lot of players do like playing the Ravana versus Erlang Shen matchup, but some like the Erlang Shen versus Ravana matchup, and at the moment, they're both trading out pretty evenly.
Yep, Dwurst taking a little bit of damage, but Cougs looking pretty low, having to play it safe, hiding behind Myflin, trying to get a little bit of clear, but for the most part, Elevate aren't really in the position to keep aggressing forward. They can't.
Yeah. Well, Cougar's got to go back to base here, only hitting level 4 because he's out of potions there. Obviously, with the build that he's gone for here, he's going to actually mean that he's going to only have 1 health potion, 1 mana potion at the start, so when he takes too much poke, forced back to base a little bit earlier on, it does give an edge to Keegs here, who could just look to clear the next wave. Instead, himself, he's going to go back to base as well, just to even things out between the two mages.
I'm liking the team sustain coming out from Eager. I mean, we just saw Dwurst heal back up from using that, using the ultimate, going to be just fine. Doesn't really have to go back for anything.
I expect a very long game out of this one, though, when I'm looking at it, just because of the compositions that they both put forward here. Obviously, Elevate, they're going to be the aggressors a little bit earlier on, I want to say, with the Susano, if he can find some potential picks. But it's not going to be easy for him to find picks. The only one he could really look for, and he's looking for right now, is Dwurst in the solo lane. Sol too difficult to try and pick up with the Disapparate. And then again, the same could be said for AirCougar on Kronos once he hits level 5. That rewind going to make it difficult. Whereas Eager, they can't really look for aggression either here. Right inside, though, a bit of aggression going on.
Yep, Dwurst was pushing forward, gave Susano the opening to go ahead and jump on in, and now Dwurst going to be pushed back while the rest of his team are doing their own team thing. It's going to be a failed gank.
This is a good call from Eager, though. Exploit the opportunity that they went for the gank on solo lane here and steal away their speed buff, take it away from the jungler, and give themselves more of an experience in gold lead.
Exactly, and now going to be able to sustain back up, maybe even take out this mana camp coming in, but Niqued doesn't want to let that go just yet. Good magma bomb coming in. Here comes the turtle, though. Vulcan ultimate going to whiff, not take anybody out, but instead, Niqued going to get pushed out by the rest of Eager.
And it works out well for Eager there. They get the blue buff and they get away. The Vulcan ultimate wasn't really there for damage there, looking for a kill on Jellly. It was more to try and defend the buff and steal it away. Unfortunately, it was already down. However, left-hand side, we've got a bit of a man fight going on between Kronos and Freya in the left-hand side, but at the moment, this is working out great for Keegs.
Yep, keeping them busy at this point, but Cougar taking a bit of damage, getting slowed down by the pulses as well, not going to find the stun onto Keegs. Instead, they're going to back off.
The big key there that you said was keeping him busy. He lost a whole wave of experience to the tower there, Cougar, because Keegs forced it in. However, now he's overextended.
And here comes Jellly, not going to find the whoop onto Keegs, not going to find the time rift either. Instead, just going to back up, but Keegs now taking a lot of damage, forced into the Valkyrie's discretion. No real kill potential coming out onto the Kronos, and Myflin not going to find the pluck.
That minion timing was perfect for Myflin, and that Myflin's going to pay the iron price here, I think. With that backfire coming off, clean up from Jumpahhh, Elevate, rotate back in. It was an overextension from Keegs that worked out well because he denied a full wave to Cougar, but then again, Eager unable to commit under the tower. That minion wave timing came through just right for the boy of Keegs to survive.
Good pull from Jumpahhh, able to just displace, get them there, a little bit of extra damage, and at that point, there was nothing the Sobek could do. So, I mean, that's a win.
It's a win overall, and first blood going the way to Elevate really does help him out in terms of the gold overall here as well. As you look at the trade-offs, Dwurst still looking at going in, just going to try and use the ultimate more often than not, just to continue to sustain and outpoke Niqued here on the Ravana.
Even though we're 5 minutes in, 5 minutes and change at least, 1-0 staying the kills. Elevate getting first blood, but the numbers are just so small.
Well, that was more Eager overextending for themselves there. That first blood actually evened things up. Eager in a pretty significant lead there overall in terms of golden experience and so far this game. But that first blood going the way of Elevate just made this an all-square game. And now Dwurst had to make a call there about taking the farm or going for his blue. He's going to choose his blue.
Going to take his blue, give him a little bit of extra sustain. Looking at Vulcan, he's got a Doom Orb on a Vulcan. Is that dangerous?
No, Doom Orb on Vulcan is pretty much core. He's very, very effective for him just because of the fact his passive got changed, giving him some extra mana regen, as does Doom Orb. So those two things allow him to have a lot more mana, which means you don't have to buy mana potions too early on, stay in lane a little bit more, as well as the amount of damage you can get off with this Doom Orb if you can stay safe. And that's the key word there. Stay safe and the Doom Orb will be your friend.
That's where the danger lies. If you die, those stacks are going to be cut completely in half. He'll be able to farm them back up later on in lane if he gets the chance to.
Well, back to mid lane we go at the moment, because it's only 6 minutes in. As I expect, this is going to be a long game, just because of the type of jungler we've got on this side of Eager here, and the fact they've got two mages that do want to farm up into the late stages of the game. Obviously, mages want levels more than items, because the abilities scale very, very well based off the levels. Items do help as well, unlike hunters who are all going to be item-focused.
Yeah, but Jellly going to be able to once again sneak this speed camp coming out from Elevate, so, I mean, Every little bit counts. Good block onto Niqued. Gonna stop him from backing, and now Stellar Burst coming in. Here comes the Supernova, but Jellly's gonna be the one to finish him off.
Beautiful little play from Eager there just to recognize an opportunity. However, Jumpahhh going in against 4 on his own. No rotation coming out from his team. He went for a kill, paid the price, but the rest of his team, though, were looking at the Gold Fury, and now KeegsMate is here alone to defend.
Koog's the only one here. Gold Fury already falling down about half, and I mean they're gonna leash. Koogs was the only one here, but they're leashing.
Well, the reason they de-leash is he saw the rotation coming in from Eager through the solo lane all the way towards mid. They knew they had a timer on that of about 5 to 10 seconds where that rotation will come through, and if they hang around too long, and it wasn't going to be quick enough for them to burst it down at this stage. Remember, Freya early on, she needs a couple more levels. Only with that Fatalis, not enough damage for them to bring it down in time. So Eager coming out with a very good win there, and good play from KeegsMate just to keep them busy.
I mean, not enough burst coming out, but Koogs intimidating enough at that point to go ahead and make them back off. Plus, the rotations coming out from Eager would have been on point, but instead, going to go ahead and take these left mid-camp Harpies and, cost that off.
Continue
keep going.
giving themselves the golden experience. They strip the speed buff twice in a row, get the blue buff twice in a row as well, and then also just keep the pressure on the rest of the map. This is working out well for Eager in the early game. We mentioned a couple of times Sol, Kronos, both mid to late game carries, and the more and more that they can continue to just hold a lead in this stage makes them stronger later on.
So I didn't think I'd be saying that the Guan Yu is doing better off in the jungle than the Susano is, especially the one that has a kill. I mean, they both have kills, but how does that death going to affect him in the future?
Well, generally, when you talk about the matchup between those two, Assassin versus Warrior is one thing, and Assassins generally don't have the best time against Warriors early on, just because of natural protections and health. Being a little bit better on Warriors makes it a difficult task for an Assassin to try and fight 1v1 with a Warrior. Not only that, but Conviction heals him too, so Jumpahh's got to try and stay away from trying to fight in the jungle, but he's got to have his team back him up under his own buffs. If he keeps losing his speed and blue, he's going to get further and further behind.
I mean, and that experience is definitely a big factor yet. Nobody is anywhere near level 20, so you're going to have to really farm up and get as much headway on the other team as possible. But, I mean, now that the Gold Fury's up, somebody's already sniffed at it. We have a couple of wards down on the ground as well. It's going to be the biggest point of contention.
Well, both teams as well, they do have some Gold Fury control with both the junglers going for Wrath this game as well, and that's actually a deficit to our boy... Sorry, I can't remember his name. Jumpahhh at the moment. Rewind on the left-hand side, though, coming out, just going to force the rewind. Nice little play coming out from KeegsMate there, but now he's going to get rotated on.
Myflin popping into the ultimate Jellly as well, forcing out the Valkyrie's discretion. That's going to be 4 shots coming in, not falling back into the tower, but also not falling into the CC. The rest of the team is here, though. Here comes the Vulcan ultimate. Truancii going to be able to take them out, and then Delta going to be able to take out Keegs as well. So this turned very bad for Eager very quickly.
Myflin does get out as well off that, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. Hunter for Hunter over in that duo lane there. The biggest thing that I did see out of that one, unfortunately enough, was Rippin holds on the Khepri. He ulted the wrong target. He was really looking for his boy KeegsMate, but instead he picked up Jumpahhh with the ultimate instead, and that meant that they will trade it out. That was a very good opportunity for Elevate there.
I mean, that misplay is probably one of the best things for Elevate right now, because that's going to stunt that Freya. The sooner, the longer it takes for Freya to get to that hyper carry point, level 14, level 15, it's disgusting.
Yeah, it definitely helps out Eager a little bit more there, but the speed buff this time trying to be defended by Elevate, and I'm pretty sure for the first time since the start of the game, we will see the speed buff go the way of Jumpahhh, so he's going to be happy with that.
Yeah, they are going to be able to take their own speed buff this time. It's definitely something to celebrate, but Delta Marine rotated all the way over here, trying to get a little bit of extra pressure, a little bit of extra poke, and Niqued going to get pinned down, forcing out the Mystic Rush. Good root onto Jellly, but he's going to get blocked right back in.
And now he's in trouble too. Overhead kick will buy him a second or two, but not enough of the time. The knocker was very, very good coming out there as well, allowing Jellly to pick up the kill. Biggest thing that we need to see is Truancii make these rotations over to the right-hand side. He's the mid lane of Vulcan, and I keep seeing Delta Marine over here, and I'm not seeing Truancii. It seems to be that Eager are timing it to perfection, and Truancii's not recognizing that speed is under threat the whole time. Because of that as well, now they pick up the kill, and they're going to get a tower.
Tower is down. Going to go ahead and push up these creep as far as you can as well. Truancii has been kept, his hands have been tied. They keep messing with him. They keep coming in, pushing up the wave. The timing has been impeccable coming out from Eager, but Elevate trying to get themselves back on the map, but Eager shows up.
And cavalry charges online for Jellly. Now going to focus here onto Truancii. Forced to purify early on. Going to avoid the stun too. Myflin still giving chase with the lurking in the waters. As AirCougar forced to rewind, but he could actually get some pressure onto Jumpahhh. Very good banish coming out from Keegs there. Going to force them back for a moment.
Beautiful bandage coming out, but Myflin still getting attacked by Jumpahhh. Good pull. Niqued still here pinching him out. Dwurst going to get a nice good pin, but the hug bug pulling him back. Here comes the Vulcan ultimate. boom! Truancii takes him out. Delta Marine gonna take out KeegsMate as well. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade.
Really good ults coming out from Truancii overall here. Position was a little bit off around that Gold Fury there. Elevate trying to force something at that Gold Fury, but not really committing because nobody wanted to freaking tank the Gold Fury. So it ended up resetting, and now what's happened is that Eager have taken that fight, and with the amount of damage they've got, they're trying to siege to tier 1.
Niqued Mystic rushing over the wall is going to take a little bit of damage onto Cougar, but good root. Not going to have any follow-up coming out from Elevate, however.
This is good from Elevate, though, just to weather the storm, make sure they don't get a tier 1 tower. They've not lost the Gold Fury off this one just yet. The gold lead's a little bit too much, and Eager trying to use that healing to continue going in, and they're going to get Rippin holes.
Rippin holes onto the Magma Bomb. Dwurst going to get credit for that kill. Cougs in the backline, very low. Almost got taken out by Niqued with the root, and instead Dwurst going to have to back off. Those turrets are too much coming out from Truancii.
I don't think this is too wise for me to continue marching forward. They've got no meditates online for themselves here either. They're still trying to pin it down and find potential picks. They will get a purification, and Myflin in trouble.
Yep, Myflin looking very low. Niqued looking low as well. Keegs being able to take out Dwurst with that Valkyrie's discretion, and now looks like Eager are finally going to back off from their onslaught.
Gold Fury for Elevate could be a call here for them. They could send over Truancii, use the turret as well. They have an opportunity because Eager do have to fall back here. 3 members of Elevate recognize this, but I think Myflin does too.
Myflin going to be able to rotate back over, and we have Soul in the backline as well. Gold Fury only about less than 50%. They're going to go ahead and unleash it, reset, pull it back. Typhoon has been used by Jumpahhh, and now Myflin going to be chasing Truancii. Going to get a good plug. Soul is right here in the backline, but he has the ultimate from the Khepri on him.
They're going to body block him to try and stop him getting to the tower. However, he still slips through, and Jellly now forced out as well. Marine on the run on the Sol as well, being pressured out by Jumpahhh. Very good ultimate there from Rippin holes, but an even better play from Myflin to deny that Gold Fury. That tail whip of his took him all out of range of the Gold Fury pit, forced a reset, because it would have gone Elevate's way for free just because of the fact that Jumpahhh does have Wrath.
And it was a little uncoordinated when it came out, just because Susano, Jumpahhh was trying to come back in, take it, but the rest of Elevate had already scattered back. They weren't nearby. Go ahead and back off because the rest of Eager started pouring in.
Well, the right Harpies and left Harpies are about to spawn here. Been pretty action-packed for only 10 minutes in this one. I expected, a bit of a longer game between these two, but they don't really want to do that. And once again, we saw him in last set, Delta Marine, off to his usual ways here, doing a very good job of getting 3-0 and 3, even though he's not got too much player damage.
Myflin putting a lot of pressure in on Elevate. Elevate really don't know how to handle it at this point. Eager doing a fantastic job with the timing, with the rotations. I'm really impressed with Delta Marine's performance so far.
Yeah, Delta having a good time of things. I'm looking more towards KeegsMate in this duo lane right now, boxing off against AirCougar and doing a very good job of it, using his abilities well to slow it down. He's trying to force the rebound out of Cougar, who timed that to perfection, really. And now Keegs in a bit of an awkward position. Bad news is Jumpahh's here. Jumpahhh
is here, going to try to not going to find the pull, but instead going to force out that purification, even though it wouldn't have hit. So
yeah, that purification wouldn't have helped him either way. He's a little bit too delayed in it anyway. If he would have connected, he would have been dead because the purification would have been used anyway. But in the end, he will wash. Purification being down and rewind being down, though, for AirCougar is a small power play window for Elevate. I say that, but at the same time, Keegs, he's got both relics down.
Yep, but Jumpahhh coming back in. Here comes the Typhoon. Good knock-up, good stun coming out, but Jumpahhh pulling him right back in. There goes the Sanctuary.
And so they picked 2 things, but now the rotation from Eager is here as well, and they're looking straight for Jumpahhh. Rippin hole's going to ult him so he can run away to live to fight another day. Root does not connect on Truancii, who actually purifies it as well to try and get away off the back of that one too. And Jellly is being focused out there with the rotation from Niqued in the solo lane, as well as Keegs' ultimate. It's going to slow down Eager for now, but Conviction is online, as Meditate is here as well for Erlang Shen. They could look to continue this pressure.
The heals and the Meditate are the biggest thing. They want to go ahead and try to take out Jellly. There was the root, but Myflin with the beautiful pluck coming in, and now Dwurst, the biggest point of contention now so very low, has that target on him, but Rippin hole is going to go ahead and decide to not chase.
Truancii is just doing so much work with this turret more than anything. His position of this turret has really helped out his team. Ooh. I say that as meanwhile Niqued forced out with the ultimate there. Both teams just wanting to fight 5-on-5 in the duo lane here. The Gold Fury is a threat for both of them, so I can understand this. And Eager, they're trying to weather the storm with the amount of sustain they have.
Delta Marine wanted to chase, but Jumpahhh is too slippery on that Susano. There's nothing they can really do to lock him down if he has that teleport available. You have to wait till that's gone.
Yeah, now the teleport is gone on Niqued. Now he's back in lane, ready to continue to defend this tier 1 tower. Neither team giving this up at all. No buffs available in the jungle at the moment, apart from on the side of Eager. So this is working out in Elevate's favor, as they're not really losing the potential of free farm.
Nope, but Eager are going to turn around and put this aggression that they couldn't take out on Elevate on the Gold Fury. They're bringing it down pretty quick, but Myflin going to turn the corner, find the pluck onto Niqued, right into the rest of Team Eager. Here come the ultimates out, Cavalry Charge, and Niqued going to get erased.
But it's only one kill, and you invested quite a little bit into him there, did Eager. You can see only 2 ultimates left available for them. Elevate, though, really thinking about going for this one. They're taking a long time back. Jumpahhh's trying to flank around the back. Remember, he has Wrath, but he's down for another 10 seconds, and Myflin doing a good job of peeling him means the Wrath for Eager goes through, and they get the first Gold Fury.
Yeah, Rippin wanted to come on in, but there wasn't really an opportunity, and now KeegsMate forced into the ultimate, bringing out so much damage. Beautiful Typhoon going to find 3, and now Eager are backing off.
All right, the Typhoon was great there coming out from Jumpahhh, but it wasn't enough for them to secure a single kill off that. They'd already picked, you didn't get out anything off that, did the boys of Elevate. Instead, they lose the Gold Fury, and on top of that, they also lost the kill of Niqued.
I like the fact that Eager have been looking for things to find afterwards. Go for a tower, you go for the buffs, you go for an objective. After that big team fight, even though nothing essentially happened over in the duo lane, they still found a way to make it a win.
Well, they got 3,000 plus gold now in the lead because of that one as well. All their towers still stand, and on top of that, they go away, strip their own jungle of buffs that were available for them to take as well. Tier 1 tower already been down on the right-hand side, makes things very easy. And now we're getting to that sort of stage where Eager could look to do what we saw in the last set against Aware here. With a Sol and Kronos, their tower push is actually very, very strong here. They could potentially split push around the map and abuse that situation.
When you think about Sol, the first thing I think about is how quickly she can burn down a tower. So you're exactly right. Between Kronos and Sol, I would be very surprised if we didn't see that split push potential. It's going to be up to Elevate to keep tabs on them, keep the vision in the jungle as well.
Well, the attention may start to turn towards the Fire Giant a little bit more, the right-hand side of the map. Allow the Hunters just to continue fighting away over in that duo lane, especially because, you know, the buffs have been available a couple of times from Eager. They'll want to go back to that one as Jellly's rotating mid.
Eager have been setting this up, though. They've been taking the buffs. They have all the timers, essentially, except for the last speed buff, because Elevate were finally able to take that for themselves. They've been running this right side of the jungle since the beginning.
Yeah, I will say experience-wise, though, there's a little bit of a lead for Eager here, and it's mainly on the side of the mid lane, but Koog is in a lot of trouble there. Taking
a lot of damage coming out from those pulses, but going to force out the rewind and be just fine in his
Great
tower.
Play from Keegs, though. Great play from Keegs, forcing that already. Didn't get his Purification Sanctuary off, but having the rewind down really limits what Kronos can really do in these engagements. You like to get those rewinds off during a team fight to make sure you can reset your cooldowns as well as regen your health. Not having that for a little while, Elevate could look to try and abuse that, but I think Eager recognize it, and that's why they're over here as well.
Yeah, the two of them rotated back over here to the left side. Jellly gonna get pulled back, and Magma Bomb trying to keep everybody off of them. Gonna get Typhoon by Jumpahhh. Good root coming out from Khepri as well, forcing out the Cavalry Charge to get away.
Ult for ult trade in the jungle there, not too bad overall. Jellly will be fine because he's got the sustain. Meanwhile, Ravana looking for Delta Marina was trying to flank, and now Delta's on his own and out of position.
Niqued looking for it and not going to find the root, however, but lots of damage coming out between the two of them, and Niqued going to find the last hit with Jumpahhh.
You might be sold, you might be pretty farmed right now, but if you come up against a warrior at this stage of the game, you're going to have a bad time. Love the decision from Dwurst, though. Sacrifice your mid laner for a tier 2 tower. Absolute worth.
Yeah, but here comes Ravana up in the back line. Niqued not going to be able to find him. Instead, he's going to be, or Dwurst going to be able to back, and the fight goes back to the duo lane. KeegsMate trying to duel with Dwurst here, but I mean, so far it's pretty much a stalemate. These pulses aren't hitting.
Well, Dwurst did a very good job of teleporting to the left-hand side there to defend that tower, as the rest of his team were looking to pressure mid lane there. Keegs had free farm, was looking to try and add to back with a tier 1 tower on the left-hand side. His teleport denies the opportunity for Keegs to get that tower.
I mean, Elevate trying to fight fire with fire. They know the split. They know these split pushes are going to happen. That's why you see Ravana on the right-hand side taking out this tier 1.
It's actually working out better for Elevate this in a moment, I want to say, in terms of how they're split pushing a little bit better. The weather and the storm in the mid lane, not allowing this tower to go down for completely free. If it does fall down here, it's fine because they got an answer back in the tier 1 on right-hand side, and with the teleport now coming in, they could look to really defend.
Koog's taking a lot of damage coming out. Jumpahhh going to find the last hit, but that was the tower shot. That was so many ultimates, and KeegsMate trying to find the ult onto Jellly will be able to confirm, and Myflin forced into the water to try and get away from all of Elevate.
And now Elevate have a bit of a power. They lose the tier 1 tower, but with 2 members of Eager being dead here, they could look for the tier 1 tower in mid lane as a response. This was a great play from them. It's going to watch the health pools, but at the same time, they do have Rippin holes with an ultimate that could save them from death.
I mean, it's good that 2 people are down from Eager, but it's who is down that's the biggest part. AirCougar is down. Jellly with that sustain, the heal, he's down as well. They have no way to sustain through the little bit of aggression that Elevate are starting to push through.
Yeah, Elevate are looking looking actually really good this game as well. They're putting on a very good show against Eager here. Yes, they're falling behind, but it's their ability to answer back at being behind that is the biggest thing from this. They do have a kind of a counter initiation comp. They can allow Eager to go aggressive there with the cavalry charge coming out from Jellly, but then they have the opportunity with Rippin holes to revive a player. They've also got Keegs who can take to the sky and get himself out of combat if he gets aggressed on, and then have it potentially turn around once more. And Elevate are actually playing their composition pretty well so far.
I mean, it's worked out very well. I'm liking the communication as well. We see Elevate doing these fantastic rotations over to the duo side whenever AirCougar gets low. Eager has to come to the defense, and at that point, Elevate had been trying to get kills off of that multiple times.
But Elevate also, when we look through the items here between the two teams, you can see they're investing a little bit into anti-heal here. Mainly on the side of Rippin holes. Picks up that curse to make sure he's not got any of that. At the same time, he's also got that pestilence online as well to try them slow them down. Although this Gold Fury won't be free, I don't think.
Eager already mowing it down. 43%, but gonna back off. Elevate, a little bit of a slow walk back to the Gold Fury, but stopped it in enough time. Gold Fury gonna be back up to full health here in just a second. And now time to zone Elevate.
And Myflin's in a bit of trouble there, but luckily enough, he's got Tailwind to buy him some time. Forced to ult early on. Gold Fury is getting low, and Jellly took a lot of free poke from that Vulcan ultimate. However, Gold Fury release once more, reset once more, as Dwurst is trying to keep him busy with a two-man taunt.
Here comes Jellly looking to try to capitalize on this two-man taunt. Jumpahhh taking a bit of damage. Here comes the pluck. Magma bomb onto Myflin to keep him off. KeegsMate taken to the sky, looking for the damage. Here comes a Typhoon, two-man ultimate or two-man knockup.
And now the fight continues going on here as AirCougar's under pressure as well. The pressure is really onto Niqued though, with a good overhead kick. He'll buy some time, but flop back into danger. Rippin holes though, with that ultimate will slow down the advance of Eager, and wisely so. Eager will not kill him and give him that reset. So power play advantage with the ultimate, with the teleport being down for Niqued as well. Could be a worse situation.
It's hard enough to kill him when he's at full health or half health, when you have to worry about that, but looks like Elevate haven't finished up yet. Eager wanted to take the Gold Fury instead, turning back onto Rippin holes, taking quite a bit of damage. He doesn't have the revive for himself, so he's going to definitely have to get out.
Good work from Jumpahhh though to go to the backside and look for the poke onto Delta Marine to slow down them doing the Gold Fury once more. This fight is still raging though between the two teams. It's a battle of sustain between both of them, and overall it's sustain from Eager versus being able to reposition from Elevate that is paying off for both these two teams to allow this game to be absolutely pretty much dead on even and so close.
I feel like Eager are going to lose a little bit of their advantage because Myflin has to back off. It's going to be a little bit of a slow ride to come back to the Gold Fury, but it looks like both teams have pretty much backed off.
I mean, these fights are going even. The longer it goes on, however, though, keep an eye on Elevate's comp because of the fact they're building more anti-heal coming out. You're going to probably another Pestilence coming out from Niqued here. You've also got as well in mid lane Vulcan, Truancie's picked up a Divine Ruin, as well as Pestilence already online and a Curse online from Rippin holes. They're dealing with the composition that Eager are putting at them. Remember, this anti-heal will affect Sobek, it will affect Guan Yu, it will affect Sol, and it will affect Cougar a little bit in the grand scheme of things. So, and also, as well as that, Dwurst, the whole team has healing basically, and they're all going to reduce that healing with these anti-heal items.
Great picks coming out from Elevate for the items. The anti-heal, on top of that, I mean, it's not just anti-heal. These are items that are going to give you other things as well, but they don't want just that. They want this Gold Fury here. Elevate turning around. AirCougar, the only one here. Sol going to come around this corner. Dwurst is still in the mid lane, and the Gold Fury's coming down from 22%, 16. Here comes the Supernova, and it's going to go to Elevate.
They do pick it up, but can they get out of the engagement as well? Niqued on the front side zoned them all the way there, and that was Elevate recognizing when Eager had back. Two members were in base then, and those two members on your screen, they were the ones that had backed Jellly and Myflin. The front line of Eager, there was no way that Eager could look to defend that Gold Fury because of the backs that came out, but they may look cheekily towards certain giants on the right-hand side.
Yeah, but Jumpahh's here. He's going to turn this corner and see them immediately.
They have no
Dwurst's going to get knocked up, and I mean, Jumpahhh just waiting for his opportunity. He does have his ult. He could throw in the Typhoon. Rippin holes is here as well. There comes the curse, and the ultimate coming out from Vulcan, and that's going to be able to take it for Elevate.
They do, and not only that, they're going to find more kills. Jellly already falls down. They can pressure Myflin, who drops as well to Jumpahhh, and now Elevate through the jungle are going to run down Eager. Fantastic ultimate from Truancii. Eager were looking to do a very cheeky play because they had a RAF advantage of ripping away before they could do anything. Meanwhile, what's going on in left-hand lane? Freya's split pushing for free.
And Freya's going to get that tier 2 tower. There was a teleport coming out from Dwurst, but I mean, it's not in enough time. Those minions are going to take it down even while Dwurst tries to deal with Keegs. And meanwhile, back on the other side, Jumpahhh taking out AirCougar. Delta Marine's the only line of defense here, and this tier 2 tower is gone. It's toast.
Eager are losing this game to Elevate because Elevate are actually outplaying them. Not in terms of the team fights. I want to be clear on that. I feel the team fights have gone very, very even between the two. They're doing it based off their objective control, their decision-making as a team, and the composition they've drafted to deal with this double mage situation that Eager have put forward.
I mean, they wanted to take the split push game from Eager, and they're doing a fantastic job of it. Elevate capitalizing on Eager's mistakes. Granted, they're not that many, but they sniff them out, they find them, and it's netted them two big objectives.
I mean, when you actually look at the side of Eager here as well, look at the amount of magical defense that we see coming out from Elevate to answer back the mages of Sol and the Chronos. Well, you've got Vulcan and Freya on the other team. I don't see as much magical defense coming out from Eager this time to counteract that one, and it's allowing Elevate to slowly win these fights. That Fire Giant potentially could have put Eager in the lead here, but if you go back to that Fire Giant fight, you gotta respect a Vulcan ultimate that can come from anywhere.
I mean, and it definitely did. Truancii on point. If you're Eager, you were kind of sitting nice stride, looking pretty hot, fancy, at the lead right now. And now they're not. There's no big objectives for them to take. What can Elevate do? I mean, what can Eager do?
Well, Eager generally just have to try and defend the Phoenixes. Obviously, all the tier 2s being down. They do have a very good squad for defending here. As well as being located close to their fountain, they can quickly nip in and out of base nice and easy to heal back up and take it in turns to rotate in and defend these Phoenixes. It's going to be hard for Elevate to fully commit under a Phoenix. They want to try and bait Eager out of the Phoenix if they can. If not, what you'll end up seeing is probably Niqued probably having to dive in deep, or Jumpahhh to force an engagement and then have Rippin holes use that ultimate defensively to get him back out after the engagement goes off and use that extra man advantage that Kepriel brings.
You can see the Eager don't want to push up too far just yet. Elevate are barking at their doors. They only have the Phoenixes. All the towers are down. And if they lose one of these Phoenixes, their hands are going to be tied when it comes to the fire creep.
Well, they don't have great clear in terms of objectives here, Elevate. They're going to have to rely on the Fire Giant, which does give them a bit of a boon here, but it's mainly Keegs is the only real ranged guy they have in this team that can hit the Phoenix. So if Eager can just focus onto Keegs the whole game and make sure he doesn't get to this Phoenix, it's going to be a hard time for Elevate to pick up a Phoenix.
Good Banish coming out. Jellly going to be pushed back and then jumping back in with the ultimate. Rippin Hole's going to be able to ult himself, and Keegs, with the discretion, going to be able to pop down those damage.
Big win for Eager there. They get the ultimate out of Rippin Holes onto himself as well, plus they don't pop it, and now Eager, they've lost a couple of ultimates of the side of Elevate. They can hold this Phoenix a little bit easier now.
It's just Cougs and it's just Delta Marine that have their ultimates. Elevate really trying to force them out. Delta Marine on the side, waiting for the opportunity to come on in, but the Typhoon going to knock out Myflin and pull him back, and Jumpahhh going to find the kill.
And that front line being down is going to slow down a little bit more. The Phoenix still stands, however. It's on its very last legs on this left-hand side, but that poke that just came out from Eager will push back Elevate for a minute. That Fire Giant will regen them a little bit more, though, but I think they've given up on this left-hand Phoenix now. They're trying to head towards mid.
Trying to head towards mid because Niqued's been pushing those creep in. Delta Marine's been split between working on the left side Phoenix fight and working on the creep in the mid lane.
What a great hold from Eager there overall. The whole thing they had to do was try and force something. Elevate tried to commit heavily there with Rippin Holes going in as well, looking for the abduct. Instead, he gets focused, forced to ult himself, and it stops the push from Elevate. They lose Myflin in the process of that, but it still works out. You just fought a team that had Fire Giant at your Phoenixes, and you don't lose one, so big win.
It was a little bit of issues coming out from Elevate, not really able to penetrate the Titan room. So how are they going to be able to push down this Phoenix once this Fire Giant goes away, which is gone?
The main thing they've got to do now is go for a fight in the jungle again. Look to potentially split Eager around the map one more time here and have some of the mobility coming out from the teleport from Niqued, or even Jumpahhh, split push and then rotate into the fights a little bit later thanks to their mobility options available to them. Or the other option is take a fight at the Fire Giant again when Eager start it up and have Truancii get another big ultimate off.
I don't think they're going to fall for the same trick twice. I think they're definitely going to want tabs on Truancii. Wards are being placed down in the jungle and all of those nice sweet spots where that Vulcan ultimate would be able to go from max range. But we're 29 minutes and 50 seconds into the game, 7-11. Eager and Elevate both looking strong.
Well, at the moment it should be Elevate's game at the moment with 9,000 gold lead here. It does give them a bigger advantage. You can see the player damage from Elevate. Their top 3 carries are all in the top 3 of the player damage charts as well, which just shows how much of an impact they're making on this game here. Fire Giant started by Elevate this time around. They've got a bit of better control here with a Wrath and the Vulcan ult.
Dwurst going to get pulled back, force out the turtle, and then get banished. The rest of Eager is here, though. Delta Marine in the backline hasn't really thrown down any damage yet. Elevate haven't fully committed to this fight.
Cougar got a lot of free poke off there onto Jumpahhh, though, and Jumpahh's in a bit of an awkward spot, forced to try and recall back to base, and Eager recognize that someone's going to go back here potentially with Jumpahhh, so they're trying to commit and force back Elevate again while getting control of the Fire Giant pit once more.
I mean, they're definitely in the right spot for it, and these tight corridors are really nice for AirCougar CC, for Myflin. I mean, for Myflin to jump in, for Jellly to be able to find these stuns. They baited out the kick from Niqued as well.
Truancii is playing so well. These meatballs onto Myflin, he's just poking him and poking him and poking him over and over again. But Cougar, he got caught out on his own there.
And there goes that wee wine. Lots of damage coming out from the magma bomb from Truancii as well. He's on point not only with Myflin, but there as well. There goes the Typhoon.
And immediately KeegsMate goes in looking for Cougar still. The pulse damage is starting to shred heavily. A supernova from Delta Marine's used, but now he's isolated and alone. Jellly's trying to flank in to support him, but still standing for a moment is Delta Marine. Not much longer though. Jumpahhh, credit for the kill, and gets out as well. Cougar trying to get back in the fight, but he's very low in health. As meanwhile, poor old Dwurst gets a taunt off on 4 to slow them down. But even Dwurst is forced out as well. Elevate win the engagement again. Marine was the casualty of war.
And Keegs in the backline when they tried to get away. Truancii over the wall with the ultimate. Myflin able to take out Jumpahhh, but he's only one nuisance out of a whole team.
And on top of that, now the engagement continuing for Elevate here. They've taken out 2 targets in trade for just Jumpahhh in the jungle. That was a big win for them one more time. AirCougar committed heavily on his own, and he paid the price. His rewind went off fine, but he got poked down below half health, and he even finished off by picking up the ultimate onto him as well. Eager tried to support their team there by going to defend, and Delta Marine also died because of Cougar being overextended.
I'm getting a little bit of deja vu here. Dwurst was the only one here trying to stop the Fire Giant fight in the beginning, but not able to stop it quick enough. Elevate are going to be able to take that. The only member on the red side that doesn't have it going to be Jumpahhh.
Yeah, the best thing about this so far is that the way Elevate is playing their composition to perfection. Truancii is having a fantastic freaking game on this Vulcan right now. Keegs is doing a solid performance as Frey, as you'd expect, but his meatballs and backfire combos have been on point. His turret placement has put on so much extra damage onto the Eager boys that, yeah, they've got a lot of sustain in this composition, but they're not having the chance to sit back and just re-sustain in. Once they take a lot of poke, when Eager are the aggressors, Elevate have to sit back and wait. They get poked out by Elevate, and then Eager fall back to try and re-sustain, and Elevate's like, no, 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 no. We're going back in on you now, and you're being forced out.
And we saw that with Keegs going around. When Eager were trying to retreat, and Keegs came in, the rest of Elevate came in, and just completely swept them up like they're sweeping up this Gold Fury right now. Absolutely no contest.
Yeah, the Gold Fury was free there anyway, because obviously they've only got Phoenixes to go for again. But we're back in the same old boat that we were in last time for Elevate here, trying to siege these Phoenixes. Eager, like we said, they've got a very good comp for defending these Phoenixes, and Elevate don't have very good dive over here. You're going to have to rely on Rippin holes ulting someone and allowing that person to go in deep.
I mean, they want to try to get a nice pick, too. The less people there, the better. Eager wanted to get Dwurst while he was still out by himself, but, I mean, he's kind of slippery, especially with the turtle.
Well, the Golden Experience lead is still a small advantage for Elevate. Now, they're all at 6 items or Elevate here. With that 11,000 gold lead, it's like, I think a Soul Weave is left to be finished on the side of Truancii. Other than that, pretty much everybody else is happy as days. Meanwhile, it's still only 5 items for Eager, so they do have a small advantage here. If they want to try and force this and just dive all the way in, it may work in their favor, but the respawn times are so long right now that if Elevate do make a mistake of diving too deep and don't find the kills they're after, well, Eager could come back and just win the game off the back of it.
Elevate split up currently. Jumpahhh in the mid with the Arlang Shin, pushing up these creep, boxing out, and I mean, Dwurst not really getting good with that trade out.
Yeah, I'm forced back to base at the moment very early on, and if Elevate recognize that, they should be committing heavily on the left, and that's what they're doing.
Good pull, good pluck. Good plug. Holes back in the Phoenix, now taking a lot of Phoenix shots, but that did force out Myflin's ultimate. And now Keegs gonna get a little bit of CC over in the back line, but now they're finally able to put a little bit of dent in these Phoenixes. The first one is down by itself. Jellly forced to go ahead and back out. Dwurst the same with the Typhoon coming in. And I mean, even
It was a beautiful play coming out from Elevate there. What they did is they split things up, and they managed to make sure Jumpahhh got left alone in the mid lane. He took down a Phoenix. The rest of Elevate took a 4v5 fight, poking in over and over again, keeping Eager busy as Jumpahhh got the first Phoenix, and then he rotates to the team fight. His extra addition of pressure to that fight allowed them to also take the second Phoenix down. Eager forced to fall back. They finally broke the back of this game now. They could potentially just have somebody split push. I asked for Jumpahhh, and they did it with Jumpahhh. Split push again these left and middle Phoenix, sorry, the middle lane, while the rest of the team siege up the final Phoenix here. Very good play from Elevate. They've broken the back of this game finally. The hardest thing they had to do was break the defense of Eager at the Phoenixes.
I mean, After 2 tries, they finally got it. They got the first 2 down, and I like the call for them to back off.
Yeah.
It was hard enough for them to do this in the first place. The last thing you want to do is overstep your welcome.
And Cougar's not really had a great game on this. He's not had the opportunity to get as much damage off he wanted to, forced to rewind very early in a lot of these engagements. It's not the same old Kronos we're used to seeing out of him. Meanwhile, keep saying about Truancii, his player damage is just going up and up. He's done 1,000 player damage per minute this game, as now Myflin's in trouble.
Myflin gets rooted again, pulled back, and Niqued gonna get credit for that kill. This may be the last siege coming in, but Keegs gonna get decimated by AirCougar. They're chasing him down though. He's a big source of that damage, and Jumpahhh gonna be able to dash forward. Dwurst, however, taken out by Truancii. There's only 2 members remaining for Eager.
There may be 2 members remaining for Eager, but there's no Phoenixes remaining for Eager. Now is Delta Marine forced to disapparate. Niqued still giving chase. This could be the game. 5 minutes are starting to pour into the middle, and oh my goodness!
Oh, that was nasty.
Vulcan from him, jeez.
Truancii coming in with the ultimate, able to take out Soul. Jellly, the only one here. And I mean, nobody's going to be remaining because the Titan's gone as well.
No, that's just a beautiful performance from Elevate overall. They had a composition crafted together. They had the idea of what Eager's comp was all designed to do, and they counteracted it so well in so many different ways. Anti-heal to stop the amount of sustain that squad had, at the same time as letting the Eager boys feel confident about, oh, it's only Elevate, we'll go aggressive against them. And they sat back, waited, with the Khepri as well, kind of denied them that option of finding those kills they were looking for.
I like the fact that they took a team comp that was, I mean, Eager. They wanted to split push. They wanted to get as aggressive as possible. And Elevate flipped all of that on them. But we saw them split push, and we saw them doing all the things.
Go right back to the beginning of the game, though. With what Eager did there, they pressured Jumpahhh in the jungle over and over again, stole his speed buff a couple of times, and they were behind. You know, Elevate were really behind, but they realized that their composition, once it hit stride and did the team fights, if they played it correctly, they could beat the Eager squad, and that's what they did. Yeah,
I remember worrying about that jungle matchup just because he had a death, he was losing his buffs, he only had 1 kill, and he was 2 levels behind.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you look at what actually happened from the Elevate squad, they never really had to engage. They allowed Eager to pressure them first of all, and that was the most important thing for them to realize. Make them pressure, make them potentially miss abilities, like the charge spray from Myflin. If you can force them into those positions, you find wins. Cougar, towards that Fire Giant, the second Fire Giant one, him getting caught out of position by being too far forward away from his team, that pretty much was the icing on the cake where Eager lost the game.
And with no rewind, he was just, poof, he was gone.
Pretty much.
He was melted. Disapparated, boom.
The backline was in a bad way, and Delta Marine get picked off for it. Let's go into game.